Okay, so this is part 2 of my bullying story. Because, you know, I got kids and I done had to deal with bullies and all this. So, my 10-year-old, his personality, now he's my wife's biological child. He's not mine. My biological children are very aggressive. They're like me. They're very outspoken, opinionated, and aggressive. They're not borderline confrontational. You know, borderline. I'm trying to teach them to be assertive and not confrontational. There's a difference because they get confrontational with each other real bad. But my wife's biological son is very timid, very shy. He doesn't talk much. He's not a very self-confident kid, you know. And when we broke up, she pacified him a lot and spoiled him and gave him what he wanted. And, you know, I think, in my opinion, it made him soft. Because he just is like, he had this thing where if he got into a fight, like when we first moved around here, for some reason these boys came and fought my 2 boys. Well, he didn't fight back. I think that was his first fight, you know. He didn't fight back. He balled up and the little boys hitting him. And my son, who is like this big, had to like fight 2 boys at one time. And last year, when my son was getting into it with this bigger boy and he got jumped by 2 boys, my 10-year-old watched him. You know, I got a problem with that. No, that's your brother. You know what I'm saying? It's taking me a while because me and my girl broke up for some years. So, and we was raising them as brothers and sisters, and then we broke up and they was kind of distant brothers and sisters. So it's taken me a while, since he was the only child for, you know, a couple of years, it's taken me a while to incorporate him back into the family. Like, look, you know what I'm saying? You don't let your family get jumped on in front of your face. If your brother's getting jumped, you jump in it. But he would never do it, you know? So, he done had situations that his mama, you know, truth be told, she was pacifying his ass. Like one time, he came in here talking about something. This little boy tried to burn him with a lighter. And she was finna go out there and chastise the little boy. I said, no, fuck that. These is boys. You can't run to his defense every time something happen, because the older he get, the more shit gonna happen. You know, we don't live in no, I ain't trying to be funny, but we don't live in no white area where all the kids is well behaved. We live in fucking ghetto ass suburbs, and some of these kids, mamas is crackheads and don't have no home training and shit. You have to teach him to defend himself. No matter what we taught him, he's scared. You know, he's scared to fight, so he didn't want to fight. She should go running out there. I tell that little boy, you go back out there and you whoop his ass. So little boy ran away or whatever. So I didn't want to be too hard on him, because when my son was in 1st grade, I started teaching him to defend himself. He got jumped in 1st grade. We lived in, I lived in a really bad neighborhood. He got jumped in 1st grade. I told him, this what you do. You catch both of them niggas by themselves and you beat the shit out of them. And they won't fuck with you no more. And that's exactly what my son did. But my son trusts me like that. He know mommy ain't gonna stay him wrong. Well, my wife's biological son, he still got a little bit of leeriness about me. You know, he don't know me all the way like my kids know me. He ain't bonded with me all the way like my kids bonded with me. So I'm getting to the point where, like, what do? I don't want to be too hard on him, because I know he ain't no fighter. You know, he ain't got that aggression in him. But, like I told him, self-preservation is the first rule. That's supposed to be instinct. You know, you don't let nobody just whoop on your ass. I got into it with his mama. I'm going back and forth with his mama. She like, da-da-da-da-da. Well, I did this to him to make up for the fact that he ain't got no father. Fuck that. Fuck that. The world ain't gonna pity his ass. He's a black man. The world ain't gonna look at this nigga and cut him a break because he wasn't raised with his biological father. Fuck that. I ain't gonna pity him either. Pity is for the weak. We ain't weak people. We teaching our boys how to be strong. I had to do him from the ground up. So finally, couple weeks ago, and this video is way late, couple weeks ago, he come home all mad. My wife say, "Dirty mad." Why he mad? Because he got jumped on. What? Two boys then jumped him and went in his book bag and stole, like, they get these like stamps that they could turn in for prizes at the bookstore. They stole them. My daughter come telling me what happened. She come telling me the boys, you know, pushed him down, took his shit, he didn't do shit. So I'm like, I be calling like my brother and my cousins, my male cousins and my male friends, like telling them different scenarios. And I listen to each one of them, like tell me what to do. Some of them told me, he'll outgrow it. Just leave him alone. Eventually, if he keep getting picked on, he'll learn how to take up for himself. But my whole thing with that situation was, yeah, but then he might go crazy and kill everybody because he done had all this rage bottled up in him for so long. I don't want him to be shooting people from the bell tower, turning into a psychopath, serial killer and shit. I don't want him killing my ass because he done got picked on his whole life. I felt like I got to do something. I just can't let it go. I ended up telling him, look, you catch both of these boys, because then he told me straight up he don't hit nobody because he's scared to lose. I said, all you got to do is defend yourself one time. You will realize it ain't that hard. It's like he too scared to do it because he think he gonna lose. So he losing anyway. I'm like, you a loser. You think you're gonna be a loser if you lose. Well, nigga, you did lose because you let these niggas whoop your ass and you ain't do nothing. So you are a loser. You want to be a punk your whole fucking life. So even though I was trying to, push him, finally I told him, either you beat that motherfucking ass, or I'm going to beat your motherfucking ass. For every day that you come home and you ain't whooped their ass, I'm going to beat your ass. I know this is fucked up, but this is what the fuck I feel like I had to do. Now, before I finish the story, let me tell you, it worked. So this is what I tell them. I say, you catch them dudes, and you be like, I said, you hit them first, because they jumped on you, so technically they hit you first. If you get suspended, I will buy you ice cream. You hit them first. You walk up to them and be like, why you take my stuff? Bam, bam. Don't worry about, because his whole thing was that he don't know how to box. Don't worry about it. I done tried to teach him how to box for the past 2 years. He don't got the technique. He can't really guard and swing at the same time, Don't worry about it. Just keep your fist ball. I said, I don't give a fuck if you're doing this. I don't give a fuck if you're doing this on top of their head. Just keep your fist balled up and swing. Trust me. Trust your mama. I said, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have your brother go with you. That way, if you do start getting your ass whooped, your brother going to jump in. I said, this is the only exception. Your brother will never fight another fight for you, but this is the only exception because they jumped on you in the first place, and they wasn't fair in the first place. This is the only exception. Your brother and your sister cannot fight your battles because your sister going to high school next year. What you going to do when she gone next year? Because her whole thing was, I took care of it. I chased the boy, and he ran. Nah. This nigga didn't jump though. So it ended up working. Now, the reason I'm putting this out here is I know my parenting techniques aren't conventional, but I'm just giving, letting you know as my survival techniques as being a parent in this urban jungle. I teach my children not to be bullies. I teach them not to hit nobody first. I don't know. Them bullies, 9 times out of 10 they need attention, and 10 times out of 10 they need attention from their damn parents, a little bit of discipline, and a lot of hugs. That's how I feel. So, holla back, y'all. Alright.